Alright, have any of you fellas heard of a little video game called Persona 4 Arena?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Sounds kind of fake.
Yeah, it's this like rumored game that they might be making at Atlus, but for years and years, I think this might be the most requested, like, now that Persona 3 Remake has been announced, like, the most requested game that's not actually out other than, like, Persona 6, I guess, is Persona 5 Arena. People have been hounding for that game for the longest.
Whenever there's a Persona spin-off, like Tactica just got announced too, like recently. Whenever there's rumors of it, they always just go, "Why isn't it Persona 5 Arena?"
Yeah,
The people want that game hard.
Yeah, so I figured it would be fun to talk about the opposite of that. A concept that I honestly think is a lot cooler is the idea of a Shin Megami Tensei fighting game.
Cool characters and rollback.
Yes, the dream video game developed by Arxis and looks like Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah, I figured it would be fun to get y'all together and kind of workshop sort of a dream SMT. Like, I say SMT, but this is kind of the whole wider series. Like, kind of workshop a fighting game with y'all, come up with some character concepts for this, like, dream video game of mine that I know realistically will never, ever happen, but, you know, I can hope.
I like talking about fake games that are never gonna happen because that means in the off chance that it does happen, it's like the best thing ever. Like, I was convinced that Sora was never gonna get into Smash, like especially when like Sephiroth got announced. I was like, okay, the dream's dead. It's like it's GG. But then when it finally happened, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool.
I got a lot of ideas for the cast and what kind of archetypes they would be. That's going to be kind of my shtick. So, number one, I have an idea for you guys. Raidou, I gotta start off with my best friend, the best game in the series, the best spin-off series to ever grace the PlayStation 2. Raidou will be a stance character, swapping weapon types like in Raidou 2 between the spear, the axe, and the sword, while also loading different elemental bullets to apply different status effects to your opponent. With so many permutations and mix-ups, he will be tier 0.
Alright. I feel like there's a bit of bias in your design.
Yeah, there is, for sure. He's designed to be top tier. Infinite range, infinite combos, plus unblock everything.
Even if it's heavies or plus on block.
Yeah.
I think we should establish, like, is this gonna be like a Persona 4 Arena-esque game or like its own unique thing? Because I think for the sake of keeping it kind of familiar without having to think too hard about it, just like imagine it's like a arena ROM hack or some shit.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of like the idea that I sort of had in mind is like, essentially Persona 4 Reno, like it would definitely be an anime game, like kind of combo heavy, be able to like air dash and stuff. So yeah, I'd say like Persona 4 Arena is probably the closest comparison.
It's not like Samurai Showdown, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be kind of cool though.
Actually, with the amount of sword fighters in this game, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and speaking of sword fighters, so this is something that when I was initially kind of coming up with the idea, when you look at a lot of the SMT guys, you start to kind of think like, a lot of these guys seem like they would play out similarly. So what I kind of did for some of the like mainline characters is I sort of divided them up into like specializing in certain attack types that the series are kind of known for. So like I have the SMT1 protagonist here, who I envision as being more of kind of like a sword fighter. So he would be sort of like how Narukami is, and he'd be kind of like Hyde from Under Night. Like a lot of these character concepts of mine are kind of just these hodgepodges of different characters from different games kind of thrown together.
Considering he's the kind of the guy who started it all, it makes sense for him to be sort of like the Ryu from the game, being the main guy with the most well-rounded kit.
Yeah, I'm picturing him as being like the sword guy for whatever reason. I don't know, just like the visual of him with the sword, like in his art, has always kind of stood out to me. So that's why I decided he's gonna be like our sword dude.
I also see in your notes here you say Demon Ally Cerberus.
Yeah, so this is an idea that I was kind of tossing around. Is I think one of the kind of benefits of making a game like this is that I feel like SMT especially has a lot of tag team potential that you can go into, because I feel like there's a lot of characters that are kind of inherently linked to other characters. Like, random example I have here we can talk about later is like Nuwa and Yakumo from SMT5. I feel like those two just go together so well. So I figured for some of these characters, to give them a little bit of spice, we could give them like a demon ally that helps them out, and I figured SMT1 protagonist and Cerberus kind of go together the best.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, considering that like instead of picking a super like you do in Street Fighter, you could pick an ally.
I like the idea of it being Cerberus because it's like his actual dog.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. Is just like, for any of the guys who like use demons to give him access to a couple of different demons that are like kind of closely associated with them, or like that game in particular. So I think that'd be kind of a cool system, is the idea of you having like essentially assists that you can pick from, like, oh yeah, I play SMT1 protagonist with, I don't know, such and such demon that shows up a lot in SMT1. And that'll be like your guy that you kind of rock and roll with.
Since I'm like I'm not really great at fighting games. I don't really know a whole lot
Same.
beyond just like playing them. Yeah, so it's like what I can help out with in this conversation is referential attacks. I think SMT1 protagonist, one of the most infamous parts of the game is being able to spam nerve bullets and like trivialize it. I think nerve bullets should be like a super attack you can do.
Okay.
It's like, you know how like Dante and Deadpool and Marvel vs. Capcom, they have a super where they just like shoot bullets.
Yeah.
Like I'm imagining something like that, except like he just pulls out like a minigun, like an SMG or something, just goes to town.
A character that I think would be more similar to almost like an anime fighter, to go to Dragon Ball Fighter Z. If you ever played a character, Android 17, with the Rekkas, I think Demi-fiend would make a very cool rush-down mix-up character with Rekkas, with like a lot of forward advancing moves, a lot like his physical moves in the game. But to mix it up, his enders, like in Dragon Ball FighterZ, either he can cancel it by stepping back or jumping or any number of things, fainting. You could end it with a magic spell, which would shoot you backwards and give you a projectile, or you could end with like a physical skill with like lunge for super almost like side switchy mix-ups, like in Dragon Ball FighterZ or the Tsukihime fighting game. I forget what it's called.
Melty Blood?
Melting Blood.
Yeah.
A lot of cool gimmicks you could have with these characters instead of just them all being guy with sword.
Yeah, I had like a pretty similar concept for Demi-fiend. I like the idea that his Rekkas kind of end with like, because Demi-fiend does one of two things. He either like punches you or fires a fucking laser, right? So I think that'd be kind of a cool way to kind of mix the two, is that like his finishers are a lot of his like cool shit that he can do.
I like the idea of Demi-fiend relying mostly on physical attacks, except I think it would be really cool if the attack magma axis was just like a super that counts as, it's like an upward angled super that's like an anti-air kind of.
Oh yeah.
Because in the animation, that's like how it fires. I think a unique gimmick to him, one of his super attacks should be power charge.
Okay.
Ooh.
Like you could do power charge, and then if you hit the Freikugel as like, let's just call that like his ultimate move, it could be like, it could deal more damage and have a unique animation to that one, where like he gets a critical hit or something.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like, didn't Chie in Arena have something like that, where she like boosted herself up?
Yeah, she could buff herself. Like she had like a limited time buff she could use, and it worked with super moves.
Yeah, I think that's something that'd be cool, that would really kind of play into like how important buffing is in SMT. If a lot of these guys have kind of like buffing skills that give them access to better stuff.
I like that idea. I had a similar idea with Demi-fiend, where instead of like power charge, he had like a super almost akin to a Feng Shui engine from Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
Instead of making his moves like super crazy, it was a lot. He got Pierce from Beelzebub, or Satan from the game. Spoilers, by the way. Sorry. Where it gave him a state where if he used like super power charged moves, he had access to like guard break skills, and he had different moves that could mix up more efficiently, break through guard, akin to his like supreme ultimate demon form in the game. That's so iconic.
Another thing I would like, just for the reference, is remember how in Arena characters had instant kills they could use?
Uh-huh.
I want Demi-fiend to have Gaia Rage. I think that should just be his instant kill. It would be really, really cool, because anytime he shows up in a game, his like stipulation, if you like mess up the boss and he's just gonna instantly he'll always just use Gaia's Rage. So I think it'd be fun.
It is telling that we all have very similar ideas for Demi-fiend, because he's so unique in that he is a blank slate like every other character, but just the fact that he just punches demons in the face is so telling that he has to be a punch you in the face character in a fighting game.
Yeah, he's gotta be our like Rekka brawler of the crew.
Yeah. Who's the next most iconic main character in this series, do you think?
I would say now it's probably Nahobino.
Yeah, Nahobino for being Just the most recent one.
Yeah. Like, my idea for Nahobino is that he would kind of be sort of like the Kai Kisuke of the game, to where he's very well-rounded and he kind of has, like, just a general good toolkit. Like, for SMT1 protagonist, I'm imagining him not really having many projectiles, but I feel like Nahobino could probably have a couple. And I think that would just make sense from, like, sort of a design standpoint, is that a lot of people probably got into the series from Nahobino and would, like, mostly recognize him. So if they were getting the game, they'd probably pick him, and he'd be sort of like the quote-unquote easy character to learn. So I think that'd be sort of a smart design idea.
Like if there was a tutorial section, they'd like make you play as Nahobino.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's interesting because my idea for Nahobino was not the polar opposite, but a very different. I kind of had the idea since that in Nocturne, Demi-fiend is almost usually relegated to melee skills and physical attacks. When Nahobino, at least when I played it, it was very magic focused. So and plus a lot of his iconic skills are magic. I feel like he would be similar to almost like a Gil from Street Fighter, where all of his specials were similar to projectiles of different elements. He had like fire, ice, his supers did lightnings, and he focused on specific area denial and very good fundamental spacing and zoning.
Okay, so my idea for a character, for Abel from Devil Survivor, is actually basically that. Like, for whatever reason, I always associate Devil Survivor with magic, because like that's always what I found to be kind of just the most effective, is like the magic dance skills that you get. So I was kind of visualizing Abel being sort of like your magic guy, because they don't have any like weapons in Devil Survivor. They kind of just go at it with their fists or like use magic.
I've never played the game, so I can't really add much. What's that one move called? Is it Holy Dance?
Yeah, Holy Dance.
Yeah, like I've seen people use that and it like fucks people up. So that's probably like his big ender, maybe. Do you think Abel should be one of those people that has like demon allies? Because in the game, like the whole point is to like build your characters around demon races, right?
Yeah, we could for sure give him some. I'm just trying to think, like, off the top of my head, what are some very Devil Survivor demons? Because a lot of these guys, like, they theoretically have access to a lot of the same demons, so... Like, for some people, it's obviously, like, Demi-fiend, if he got one, it would be Pixie for sure. Like, SMT1 Protag gets Cerberus, so... You could definitely think of a couple of people that would fit well with, like, Abel or whoever.
The immediate thought would be the Bells, but it wouldn't make much sense that they were fighting together. But you could probably make it work.
To put a bit of an inverse on the idea of fighting with a demon, I have here just an idea for Nemessa as a character, and her demon ally would just be the protagonist from Soul Hackers.
Okay.
Like, just as a little switch up.
Yep.
For Nemessa in the game, she has like 3 different builds that you can get. There's like a fire one and ice one, but the one I want to suggest is the most popular one, where she has Almighty and Electric.
Maybe
Honestly,
that
I
would
could
be a
see
very
her
fun-
working where you kind of select her moveset, like almost the same way you would select an assist. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play as sexy Nemessa. Like that will literally be her title. It's like you'll have like upbeat. It'll be like a style in like the Street Fighter Alpha games, like the isms, for example. It kind of like that.
That makes sense. I like that idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I like the idea of her, like, it's kind of reversed, where the protagonist is like her helper, and she's like the character. Because I feel like with Soul Hackers guy, there's not really a whole lot of unique stuff you can do, because he's kind of just like swordman, gunman, he summons demons, so...
He's like low-key kind of bad.
Yeah.
He is not very good. You can like throw a Molotov cocktail or something.
To keep the train on Soul Hackers, I have an idea for Ringo, and it's that if you ever played Street Fighter, if you know about Seth, he can steal moves from opponents. So I'm thinking Ringo could be a theft character,
Ooh.
using Ion to download opponents' movesets and incorporate it into her own.
Okay, wait, hang on, that's fire. That's like how Android 21 is in Dragon Ball FighterZ, where she'll like suck up shit. Oh wait, this is awesome, actually.
Obviously, her assist would be her other counterpart, the purple one.
Oh, Fig. The purple one, Purple Ringo.
Yo, Purple Ringo.
Either
I mean,
as,
what is Fig gonna do?
Moral
she has guns that she never uses in the game.
support. Oh yeah, and her fake body that she made.
Wait, I like the idea that it's Fig, but it's like the owl thing she inhabits.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could incorporate her party members into her playstyle, since they're so integral to the game, but so maybe you could call upon them as projectiles since they all have guns. I'm not
Honestly,
sure.
I feel like these three could be a character. It's like you would have like Ringo and Fig as like a character, and then you would have like I don't know how you would incorporate this, having like three different people. Maybe you could like pick like one of them is the character and the other two are assists. Just like Arrow, for example, is like the guy you control, and then you would have like Milady and Saizo are just hanging out and they're helping.
Could be.
Obviously, her super would probably just be a demon Sabbath.
I could see her like having charges, almost like Jury from Street Fighter, where she builds weakness stacks into a giant Sabbath.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, okay, wait, that's sick. Yeah, I like the idea that you can spend them at the end of attacks.
Oh, now we're cooking.
Yeah.
And that's how you can use the other characters. They can use their special element.
Oh, speaking of a character that I think could incorporate their party members in a very unique way, and when I say party members, I mean that just narratively. It's Nanashi from Apocalypse. I feel like he would make a fantastic puppet character where his friends are his backup during his fights, where all of his special moves may be a buff or a spear throw or even a magic spell from Hallelujah or something like that, instead of him actually having special move.
Like, instead of, like, I can just see this being a human Nanashi without any dog. Like, we could have fucking Cole and Evil Cole for PlayStation All-Stars, where fucking, there's the good Nanashi and the Anarchy one.
Wait, this idea is fire. Wait, I like the idea of one of them is like Bonds Nanashi, and the people helping him are his friends, and then there's like fucked up evil Nanashi, whose buddy is Dogda.
That'd be really good.
Wait, this idea is sick!
I like for Bond Nanashi, his special attacks are just like his friends. Like Nozomi could jump down and use her camera. Fucking Navarre gives him, I don't know, like a buff or something.
Yeah.
If we're gonna have the idea with buffs. I do think his super attack, one of them at least, has to be the all-out attack with his friends. And the other one, well, Flynn's probably gonna be a separate character in this. I think his little team attack he can do with Flynn in Apocalypse for that one dungeon would be a nice like combo ender.
I like the idea of all of his friends having a very specific purpose, like Toki slashing across the ground, the guy with the spear, I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
That's Gaston.
Gaston being more of an aerial combatant, almost like a dragoon from Final Fantasy. Nozomi with an immediate right in front of you, like you said, camera shot.
Yeah, honestly, out of all of them, like, with this kind of assist concept, I feel like Nanashi's is the most natural, because that's kind of just how 4 Apocalypse is. It's like, these guys are just, like, your little assist buddies that help you out.
And then also having the dark and fucked up evil Nanashi. That's when he gets all of his, like, unique skills from the game. Well, he doesn't really have any exclusive skills, but I think to distinguish him from Flynn, it could be a physical Nanashi who has, like, Akasha Arts as a move. Like, I imagine Massacre Nanashi or Anarchy, whatever we want to call it, being like a rushdown character.
Yeah, he's like really violent, yeah.
And every time you win, Dogda just goes, Godslayer.
Hey, boyo!
I have a wild card pick that I don't think any of you saw coming.
Okay.
I think the main character from Machina X should be in the game.
Okay. Tell me more.
And by main character, I mean the sword.
The sword?
Just the Parasite Man artificial intelligence in the sword. Because if you think about it, that is the main character of. For those of you that don't know, in Machina X, you play as the sword, and the sword can soul jack into people or mind hack into people, and you can transfer between people's heads throughout the game. I'm thinking you could almost have like a Captain Ginyu type character.
I was just about to say, that sounds like some Captain Ginyu shit.
Where you mind hack into your opponent. You start off as the girl, and then you mind hack your opponent, and then you just play a better character with a sword.
Wait, that's sick.
All of his normals are the same, but the specials are your opponents. This one obviously wouldn't have assists, I don't think. Or maybe you could start off as the different characters from Machina X.
Start off as the president.
Yeah, you could be the president of the United States with his boxing gloves.
I like the idea that this evolves into like a weird, fucked up General Atlas fighting game. It's like Vincent shows up and like just weird, fucking some Etrian Odyssey knight starts fighting.
You get the fucking cheaters ending demonic Vincent.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't stick to. Maybe we should think outside the box and think not as main characters and more demons of the game. What do you guys think of adding the Satans like Beelzebub and Lucifer?
I think that would be mighty cool.
I think just in general, they would include some of the more recognizable demons. Like, they always put, like, Vishnu and Shiva in their games, and I think they would be, like, a team up.
If you think about it, this would have infinite options for DLC with how many demons are in the game. There are some that you have to add. Like, it wouldn't make sense not to add Kuholin, if you ask me. Spacing, neutral, almost like a Chun-Li or Noctis from Tekken would be the greatest parallel because he just has a spear. And also a shield and giant sword. But Kuholin would just have the spear. Plus, he could enhance himself with wind. He could hang out with other pixies.
They can reuse the Margaret assets from Arena, so they would make it into a character.
Ooh.
I think one cool concept would be Alice hanging out with Belial and Nebirose. Because, like, if you paint to, like, just Alice, I feel like it's kind of hard to make a moveset around her. But I like the idea of, like, you essentially play as Belial or Nebirose, and Alice is kind of just there as, like, an assist who helps you out.
And you could have Nebirose shoot out his arms a million miles like he does in the games, too.
Yeah.
Like
Good
Piccolo
jump
from
scares
Dragon
you.
Ball Fighter. You would have to add Alice. She's so iconic to the series.
Yeah.
You could probably just pillage the, like, the mechanic Naoto had in Arena, where she stocks up the, like, I forget what it was called exactly, but she gets a certain stock of that shit on the enemy, and some of her attacks will do instant kills.
Yeah, there's
Like-
like a countdown every time she uses her gun.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think Alice could have something like that, where, like, Belial or Nebirose will, like, stack stuff onto them, and then if Alice gets them with Die For Me, it'll just kill them instantly.
And then they have to make it insanely broken, just Manon's medals, except for an instant
Yeah.
kill.
I could see her being almost not one-to-one, but the same mechanics as Naoto with her Hama stacks, or Mudo stacks, in this case. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's so many fireworks going on because it's Canada Day.
Yeah, shout out to Canada.
We love Canada.
So to round out our sort of protagonist gameplay style, one character I think would be cool is Mr. Space Marine from Strange Journey. I think he's definitely the character I think of when I think about, like, gun usage in the series. So I think him being, like, our gun guy would be cool. Kind of like Chris Redfield in Marvel vs. Capcom, or Elfelt in Guilty Gear. Just having this, like, repertoire of different shit he can do with his gun, I think would be cool.
I like that idea a lot. I had a very similar idea, but to go even further into, like, him being a soldier, that he would almost be a trap character to show off his military training.
Oh, yeah.
With, like, laying mines in the ground and, like, laying supine on the ground with, like, a stance, almost like Blanca from Street Fighter 6, except it actually making sense. Snake from Smash Bros. Sort of playstyle, shooting at you from afar, throwing grenades at you, making sure you're not safe no matter where you are. That could be cool.
I think for Space Marine, if he were to have a demon partner, it should be Demon Eho.
Oh, yeah, dude, Space Marine and Demon Eho? Hang on.
The iconic duo.
Yo.
I don't want to devolve the conversation into joke characters just yet, but I really like the idea of a character like Pixie or even Pyro Jack being like a pet shop from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that just flies around the screen being ridiculously overpowered.
Wow, that sounds so obnoxious.
Shooting Agis and Zeos at you from like the top of the screen and killing you. You'd obviously have to balance it so that maybe you could hit him at some point, but I like the idea of a completely just asinine character. that
Just
breaks all the
insufferable,
rules.
yeah.
Is this joke Pixie? Is it the Super Pixie?
That's her super. She turns into the Super Pixie and uses Megidolon, but it kills herself too.
That would be so fun to balance for tournaments. Oh my god.
Like a Android 16 type.
Yeah,
level 3 super.
yeah. Yeah, that character would get banned. I wouldn't tolerate that being around.
We hate Pixie and SMT fighters. Oh, I forgot to mention one other character in the main character roundup. I can't believe we didn't bring up the samurais of SMT4.
Ah, yes.
My pick for Flynn, and maybe even the other characters, is a very agile, dodge-based character with low HP. That's almost like a mosquito type character, like Chip from Guilty Gear. but with
Okay.
parries. And if you do manage to land specific things and parries, you get Smirk as a buff state that gives you access to follow-ups of your move.
That sounds
like
so
a-
toxic.
Like a
This
Final
sounds
Fantasy 16.
sick, but also if you're playing Flynn online, I'm probably gonna turn my PC off. I'm like, no, that sounds like something I don't want to deal with.
You also know they'd just give him the fastest poke in the game.
Oh, yeah.
For, like, instant whiff punish.
He would have Alpha Blade. I can also see him incorporating the Demon Whisper sections of the game, where like he could almost cycle through Demon Whisper follow-ups. Though that might be too complicated.
Yeah, honestly, that's something that I think would go a long way in making these characters feel different, is kind of like incorporating sort of game-specific mechanics. Like, we were just talking about Space Marine. Like, Space Marine is really unique in terms of how he kind of powers up throughout the game, and like, just all the weird Schwarzfeld shit he can do with his Demonica and stuff. So I feel like you can incorporate a lot of just kind of like gameplay stuff into like how these characters play.
True, maybe I was limiting myself to gameplay mechanics in combat.
Yeah.
You could incorporate the Demonica up. You know how you get different keys to pass through unpassable terrain? You can incorporate that sort of in the game where he has almost a teleport directly to you.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Described as like he accessed the different keys to pass through like negative space or something.
He has the phase shift.
Yeah.
They just call it that.
Oh man, that character sounds toxic. He's got like the gun, so he's like a zoner, but he can teleport. He's like Dawson. Oh man.
It's Dawson.
Oh, never mind. I hate him now.
Never mind. See, one character that I think would be really cool, who's kind of a side character, is actually Chiaki from Nocturne. I think would make for a great grappler to kind of fill out the like fighting game archetypes here. Because she's got that big ass arm.
I think that would be insane.
Yeah.
I would love that a lot.
Can't believe I neglected to make a character archetype that was a grappler, considering I almost exclusively play grapplers in fighting games. Maybe I would main Chiaki.
I just really like the idea of Chiaki grabbing you by your face and just slamming you to the ground really hard. And if you do it in the air, it's just like it brings both of you down to the ground. Like kind of like what Vegeta does in like Blue Vegeta.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. I like Chiaki having a move like that.
She sounds a lot like Kanji from the Persona Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except just the one arm instead of the two Kanji has. And no chair. I guess you could also incorporate... I'm hesitant to say you should incorporate the angel section of it, but you can't really tear the two apart. When she transforms and all the art surrounding her, that's such an iconic
Yeah,
scene.
I was about to say that sounds super cool, but I feel like there's probably like another character you could give that to, is like having the angels as like their buddy. You could give her, cause when she transforms, she summons the like fucking like fancy versions of Ose and Floros. I forgot what they were called. So those could be like her demon buddies.
Yeah, they're just
yeah.
called like Hallel Ose.
Yeah.
And shit.
I could see her being almost like a Potemkin type character where she doesn't move around too quickly to kind of show off that she's new to this whole demonic thing, considering she transforms very late into the game and she's still assessing her power. So she moves around very slow, but she hits so hard.
Would you say her that transformation she gets, would you want that to just be an attack or like a full-on state chain where it's like a golden Frieza type thing?
I could see that being like a super. I feel like that form is kind of unwieldy and like weird. So I don't know how well that would translate into like a playable character. But I think that would be really cool as like a super or like an instant kill.
Oh, I thought that was just a playable character. She starts off with the big hand.
Oh no, I mean her what's it called? Like her reason form, like the avatar she turns into, the like white thing with the wing.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. The ball avatar.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing, is that she starts off in her like transform form with the arm, and then her like ball avatar, that's like her instant kill or like an ultimate she can do.
I would want to add Isamu, but I don't think Noah would be very good fit into a fighting game. He's curled up in a ball on his little whale.
He does the fucking Blanca ball.
Oh, I know a character that could have angels as their buddies. I
Uh,
can't believe we forgot SMT2's Aleph.
oh yeah.
Kind of right there on the cover, just hanging out with the archangels.
Yeah,
Specifically
that was the
Gabriel.
thing I was kind of struggling with, is making him different, because like I feel like making him really different from like SMT1 Protag and Flynn is kind of hard, because they have very similar sort of get-ups and like access to the same sort of shit. But I think making him more like law associated with would be cool.
Yeah, I could see making him almost like the most obviously genetically enhanced quote-unquote character with super speed moves, almost like Johnny from Guilty Gear, like swiping at the coin, like that level of precision and immediate swing. You wouldn't even have to animate his sword. It's just that like anime level of quickness.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, the archangels coming to his aid whenever he calls upon them, something like that.
Do you think that for Aleph, there could be a way to make Satan show up at some point? Because something I associate a lot with SMT2 is the Megiddo flare, or whatever. Megiddo fire, I think it's called.
Yeah, the Megiddo arc.
Yeah, like that could just be his like ultimate super move or something.
I would like that though. It would be just spoiling the end of the game.
It's okay. Fucking Shulk and Xenoblade, like Shulk's Final Smash and Smash Ultimate just spoils the game.
Oh,
It's really funny.
it's been so long since I've seen it. I hope it didn't spoil me.
No, you probably don't remember.
For Aleph, I'm thinking they could go the super law aligned, but I'm also thinking maybe they could go sort of like just a pure alignment system where he has like a demon and an angel bar, and the more things he does for a specific bar, it almost turns into a different character. Like he has different access to move. Angel would be more zoning, and demon would be more rushdown.
Wait, this is my idea, is that the first round will determine what he turns into, right? So, like, depending on what moves you use, by the next round, it'll be like, now you're Law Aleph or you're Chaos Aleph, and now his shit is different.
If it's a 3-round match, would he ever change back, or is it a permanent thing?
It'd probably be permanent.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like, once you're locked in, you're locked in.
Just like in the game.
Oh my god.
And he also has access to different assists like Zayn or Lucifer.
Okay, since we wanted to include more gameplay mechanics in this, a joke character I thought of, if we're gonna bring it back a bit, is the Soul Hackers 1 protagonist, because I want him to be like, in the game he's not very good. He's pretty shit in the game. So because of that, I want demon loyalty to be his main thing, where he can have really strong moves, but he has to like cooperate with his demons to get them out. Otherwise, they don't work.
Yeah, I like that idea. You have to guzzle different types of alcohol to make your demons listen to you properly, just like in the games.
Yeah, it's like a Jamie Street Fighter 6 thing, where he has to fill up his alcohol meter. And the more it's filled up, the better moves he has access to.
I'm trying to think of the character from Grand Blue Fantasy Versus that reminds me the most of that. Do you know the joke character? Lwayne is his name.
Yeah.
It's the triplets, and they're kind of a joke character. I could see the main character for Soul Hackers being like that.
See, to add another Law rep, I think a cool character, another one from SMT5 would be Abdiel. I think she would be really cool. Because I'm imagining her having kind of like a Fallen install where like one of her supers will turn her into like her Fallen form, and that gives her like better moves. It'll work kind of like Saul Bad Guy's Dragon install.
Oh, I
That's
like
pretty
that.
sick.
And her assist will be Dazai, who does nothing.
He just teleports
Yeah,
in front of
he's
you,
just
and then
distracting.
that's it.
He soaks up a hit.
Oh, dude, wait, that's actually kind of fire. If he just shows up, he's like a shield, yeah.
He slicks back his hair, and if he gets hit during it, he just goes, ooh, and then leaves.
He teleports away.
I do like the idea that the alignment reps for SMT5, it's mainly about the demons with just the human characters being their shitty assists. Like, what's that guy's name from... Who's that guy in 5, the one with the glasses? Yuzuru?
Yeah.
And then what's the guy he's like working with again?
Koshimizu.
Yeah, like they could be a character too. Just get that recency bias in where they get all the new characters first.
Yeah, honestly, I think most of the Nahobino from that game would make for cool characters. Like, Tsukiyomi with his big fucking scythe would be really cool to play as.
I like that design a lot, so
Yeah.
I just want to see it in the game.
I guess you could also add Amitabha Buddha in the game as well. That would be really cool to round out everything. He's like the super boss at the end of their campaign, guarding the Imperium throne.
Yeah, to kind of round out our Nahobino collection here, I think a really cool character duo would be Nua and Yakumo. Like, Yakumo, or Nua would kind of be like how Android 18 is in Dragon Ball FighterZ, where Yakumo is like a sort of a puppet character that you control. Like, you give him inputs and he'll do different stuff. So, like, you're playing as Nua and she has her own moveset, but Yakumo is, like, constantly on screen.
And then everyone would see him and go, is that a Raidou? Is that a Kuzunoha?
Raidou, it's Raidou, because he's just got the uniform. I like the idea of Nua just like sitting on her snake throne while Yakumo does all the grunt work, and then she just kind of sends out her snakes every now and again.
So were there any other characters you specifically wanted to see? Because I actually do have a list of stages that I think would be kind of cool to feature.
Yeah. Okay. So one that I included as like a half joke is I think it would be really cool. If fucking Dante from Devil May Cry is in this game. He's just like basically ripped from how he is in Marvel vs. Capcom. He's just in here again.
That would be really cool. And they just model swap it to the DMC2 Dante.
Yeah.
It's just from the game. They have the complete moveset. They could just do it.
Yeah. He's just like a copy paste job. That'd be pretty cool.
And just like in any DNC related product, they'll re-release this game and include Virgil.
It even has a little emblem, but instead of with Dante from the Devil May Cry series, it's with Virgil from the Devil May Cry series.
And the box art is just Virgil.
Turbo Virgil edition.
Yeah, so one more character that I would really, really like to make an appearance is sort of a weird one. It's the Anguished one from Devil Survivor 2. I think he would make for a great, like, weird character, sort of like Bedman in Guilty Gear, or kind of like Arakune in BlazBlue, just like this weird fucker who just does a lot of like out there sort of shit that you're not really sure what's going on. I think he would make for a great sort of like oddity character.
I do like that idea because he's set up in the games as being extremely powerful, but also extremely esoteric and difficult to understand why he's doing anything that he does, at least in the beginning of the game. So him kind of just like walking around very similarly to Bedman would make so much sense.
Yeah, that's pretty much most of the characters that I would really want to see. I feel like what we've kind of got so far makes for a pretty good, like, we got most of the big archetypes. Like, we got a zoner, grappler, sort of like a Shoto sort of character in Nahobino. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty good, like, starting roster.
And then they can add a bunch of DLC for some random, like, any, like, random character, really. Or demon. Okay, do you want to pitch the potential idea that they'll add Persona characters to this, just for the sake of it?
I feel like it would be good business sense to do that, yes. I would not be surprised if, like, the first DLC is Joker from Persona number 5.
What if he was the first DLC character?
It's like, they've ruined my SMT fighting game!
Put Persona in everything nowadays, Atlus.
And not only do they add Joker, but they unironically just make him the best character in the game.
Oh, for sure. Man, that would be so fucking funny if everybody buys this game because they're like, I can't wait to play as Raidou, and then every tournament is just like, alright, here comes a Joker Ditto.
Like a Leroy Smith type situation.
Yeah,
I think we've covered all the archetypes, basically. We even got some of the joke ones, like Ringo stealing moves and Mach X Ginyu Force. This is a great starting roster, if you ask me. But we could go to the stages.
Yeah, Megami Tensei has a fucking shit ton of locations you can use as stages.
The first one I thought of when I was coming up with the idea for stages was the Tower of Kagetsuchi, just like where all the recent battles happen. I think that'd be sick. I like the room where it's like the spinning cubes where you fight Chiaki. I think that could be a good little arena. Either that, or if you want to get crazy, they can just have it actually in the Kagetsuchi room.
That would be cool as if, like, every round it transitions to another spot, like, up the tower. So, like, in one fight you're in, like, the Isamu room, and then, like, at the very end you're at the top of the tower. That'd be really cool.
I had that same idea, except for a different stage.
Okay.
And that one was the Yamato Perpetual Reactor.
Oh, yeah.
And every round, it goes between just the reactor room, Blasted Tokyo, or Infernal Tokyo. I think that would be really cool.
So yeah, I like the idea that there's a rare chance you end up in the white, like the white void of just nothing.
Oh, that's sick!
That'd be awesome.
And then that stage gets banned because people would complain that it's too bright.
I could see a majority of the stages being Nocturne parts, just because that game is so cool. My idea for one would be rooftop of the hospital during the Vortex World's like creation.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Nocturne has some really good picks. Like you said, the hospital, the Amala Labyrinth could be one. The Amala Network could be another one. And while I would say the Vortex World should be one, I think for the sake of diversifying it, even though they're basically the same thing, I'd say the first area of Dot from SMT5, where you see like Tokyo Tower just in the distance. Yeah, like the desert one. I think that'd be cool. Either that or like the other one that sticks out to me is the fourth area where the sand looks like snow.
I like the idea of a stage being the was it the Tokyo Tower that connected Naraku to Blasted Tokyo?
It was like this big tree or something.
Yeah, there was a tower that connected it, I know, because at the top part of it, there was a window that it looked out of. That could be a
Yeah.
fantastic stage where you just see Tokyo behind the window. You get a little Medusa in the background turning everyone to stone.
See, we didn't have any reps from like OG Megami Tensei, but I think a cool stage would be Akemi Nakajima's fucked up server room where he like made the demon summoning program.
Oh, the big computer room.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, for characters that aren't on the roster initially, they could just have stages to like fill in the reference. Like one I have as kind of like a joke is the World of Envy from SMTF.
You'd have to add a school setting for sure.
They're not shooting academy.
Oh wait, you
like
can
the
have
idea.
the school from SMT5 when it's like getting raided by the demons.
Oh yeah.
You would also have to add a demon fusion area. I'm partial to the one in SMT1. I think that one looks really cool.
Oh, a Cathedral of Shadows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With the like the places where it fills up with green liquid. You can just see demons being fused in the background.
Okay, so I have 2 from SMT2. One would be like the Coliseum from the very start of the game. I think that'd be cool. Have like a big crowd watching you. And the other one is the Disco Club.
Yes.
Yeah, to see
That'd be
like
so
fucking
good.
MJ rocking out in the background.
Because the game is new, it's newer relatively speaking, one they could add is the Ion/Soul Matrix. So like change the shade of blue from one that's less disgusting.
Yeah,
dark.
that's vomit-inducing.
That could be an infinite stage too, with no walls.
It just goes on forever. But my ace in the hole for stages would be the YHVH universe from 4 Apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
Like outside of his throne room where you see the large staircase with the big doors at the top. I think that should be like the arcade mode final boss arena.
With Satan in the background judging you.
Yeah. So talking about all this stuff makes me really sad because it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. We've
Like
like
this game, I think this would be sick.
this would be fucking awesome, bro. Atlus, hire these men.
Atlas, we're waiting.
At Atlus on Twitter and say, look, here's a pitch video. Just do everything that's in the video and people will buy it.
This is
At
a
least
$150 billion idea for sure.
It will be the most popular SMT game. Trust us.
This will be bigger than Smash Bros for sure.
Another stage idea is the nuked Tokyo from SMT1. I think that'd be cool if you look in the background. There's like fucking crusaders and people on bikes and shit running around.
Yeah. Another one to add on to that, it could be the flooded Tokyo with the what's the last like surviving area called?
Yeah,
Messiah's place.
Yeah, it's like the big temple.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. In the background you could see like the shit where you do all the optional stuff at the end of the game.
You could also just have one on the Megiddo arc, like you said before.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it being a special, you just on the Megiddo arc. And at the end, if Aleph wins, there's a special animation where it destroys the planet.
Man, this series has so many good like places for stages. Like, what was the place in Strange Journey that was like the big shopping mall? Was that Sector B?
Oh, yeah, that's I think that's C.
Oh yeah, that was C. Yeah, yeah, that's another good one.
They could have just the end of Sector E where it had this that little black hole area where you fought Ouroboros.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like the inside of one of those rover things that they use.
Oh, inside the red sprite.
Yeah, the red sprite. Yeah,
That'd be
you
good.
see all the people working, just like, yeah, this is normal.
You see Anthony and he's like looking at demons outside.
Yeah, yeah. He's got like a Parvati next to him. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm doing good.
He's trying to rizz up a pixie during the fight.
I guess like I know I'm backtracking a little, but it just gave me the idea that for the Strange Journey protagonist, one of his colored alts should be Captain Jack's like armor. Like a black set of Demonica would be cool.
It could also just be Lilith from SMT4, like the Black Samurai armor.
Yeah, I think colored alts would also be a good way to show the SMT if character. Like I imagine for SMT1, one of his alts could just be the whatever the high school is in that game. It could just be that uniform. Like instead of just having an SMT if character, they just have the uniform as an alt. Because I'm trying to think of a way to make them distinguished.
I'm racking my brain for more ideas. We're spoiled for choice considering all the worlds in it.
There's so many different locations to pull from, like from the different sources, that it's kind of hard to think of some off the top of your head.
Yeah, like most
'Cause-
of the areas in like Digital Devil Saga would make for good stages. Like
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many different like things you could pick. You pick like the surface of the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, when are we getting the Metaphor Refantasio character DLCs though?
Oh man,
That actually
so
slap.
true. His whole thing is that he skateboards around on his sword, like
Yeah.
in the trailer.
That's so cool. He's like E Honda. Has the headbutt, but it's his skateboard.
Yeah, I think we just about designed the greatest fighting game ever.
Yeah, I'm a little drained of ideas at the moment. I can't really think of anything else that I would want to see other than just random characters that are just palette swaps, basically.
We covered the basics. We got the characters. We got the stages. We got a game right here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's cool is that there's such a big well of stuff to pull from. It's like, beyond just like the playable characters, there's so many different demons and just weird, random, obscure characters that they could pull out of nowhere and make like the sickest character ever out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, you know who I think would be cool is Krishna from Apocalypse.
Yes.
Yeah, like he's got Sheisha hanging out with him.
Oh, that'd be sick.
I'm also thinking, you know how Ryu has evil Ryu? We could have Flynn and Vishnu Flynn.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
That's when I thought I had no ideas.
Yeah, the stage is the Cosmic Egg.
We need to get hired by Atlas.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like Odin, like the 4 Apocalypse Odin in this game. Oh man. Yeah, I guess that just about does it. Unless y'all have any more thoughts on this masterwork that will never, ever, ever exist.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm just gonna be really upset that this is never gonna happen, ever.
Thinking more on this would just make me sad.
Yeah.